Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to Chapter 10, Genetic Engineering. There's a couple slides here that we're just going to go over. That's the stuff you to think about. Let's just go on and let's jump into viroids. Okay, so when we started talking about viruses, I said viruses aren't alive. And I gave reasons why viruses aren't alive. They don't eat, they don't poop, they don't metabolize, they can't reproduce on their own, a whole bunch of stuff why viruses don't count as being alive. Having said all of that, people that I respect that are much smarter than I am, some people, are saying that, well, viruses are just a different kind of life. That doesn't do those things that we just talked about. But that doesn't mean that they're not alive. It's just a kind of life that we, don't understand. So if you put a gun to my head and say viruses are alive, I would say, okay, fine, viruses are alive. Because they have the basic bits and pieces, and that is genetic material surrounded by a protein coat. Okay, so that's kind of like a membrane. That's a set of instructions. It's the most basic level of it. Well, now here are these things called viroids. Viroids are just circular pieces of RNA. It's not DNA. It's just a little piece of RNA without a protein coat around it. So is it alive? It's one molecule. Granted, it's a big molecule, but it's one molecule. Can one molecule be considered life? I don't know if they're alive or not. They infect plants. They have an effect on living things. They are able to reproduce, but only by taking over the plant's machinery and make the plant cell make more viroids. I don't know. They exist. They're a thing. Maybe. Okay, so, well, if a viroid is alive, what about a protein that is infectious? These things are called prions. Prions are infectious proteins. Is a protein alive? No, a protein is not alive. And yet, this thing can infect someone, and it can eventually kill them. Prions are responsible for TSEs. TSEs stand for transmissible, it can be transmitted, spongiform, the form of a sponge. What are sponges like? Full of holes. Encephalopathy. Prions are responsible for TSEs. Transmissible, spongiform, encephalopathies. CEPH, Keph means head. Enceph, Enkeph means what's inside your head. Well, what's inside your head? Your brain. Pathy means disease. So, the brain disease, where the brain is like a sponge full of holes, that can be caught. It can be transmitted. Transmissible brain disease, where the brain is like a sponge full of holes. TSEs. The most well-known one is bovine spongiform encephalopathy, and you've heard of it. You haven't heard of it.